everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Garage here on WFRV Plus. I am your host, person in the chair, Blake Bortz, back again for another episode. Indy is off again, so it is just me. So we're going to continue our off-season driver breakdowns. We have now drivers 20th through 16th in points, which means we'll have our first playoff driver that we'll get to dissect here about his season. And everybody else along the way here. We're gonna get started though with the kind of the news of the news of the day that I've got for you. I'm recording this on Friday the 12th here, so just for everybody to have a heads up, the antitrust lawsuit between NASCAR in 2311 and Front Row Motorsports has ended. It was about a week long court appearances made by everybody and depositions and testimonies, you name it. All took part in that. They reached an agreement, so 2311 and Front Row will have all 6 of their cars fully reinstated. Charters are now permanent, so that is now kind of the resolutions and other things in there as well. But a good thing to see that now get out of the light and move forward on, the sport now focus on Daytona coming up here in February. And Hendrick Motorsports released 2 of their new paint schemes. The primary for Chase Elliott. I don't have the pictures up here. It's the one thing I don't know how to do. So that's a big shout out to Indy. Indy provides all of our pictures. But Chase Elliott has a new primary paint scheme with Napa. It's got white on the side, blue on the top. It's a very beautiful car. Definitely different from year past. And Alex Bowman now he's got teal in his Ally paint scheme. So definitely some different things going on there. But other than that, in the NASCAR world, not a whole lot. Frankie Muniz was announced he was returning to Team Rumi Brothers Racing, driving the 33 truck again. That's kind of the only other silly season news I have. Ty Dillon, I think I announced last week during the breakdown of the drivers. Ty Dillon has been confirmed he is returning to the 10 car. I feel like everybody knows how I feel about that, but neither here nor there. So we're going to jump right into these next 5 drivers and their points and on their season breakdown. We're going to get started with 20th in points, and it didn't look like he was going to finish anywhere near here. It is the 20th place driver, 6th number driver, the number 6 RFK Ford, Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski had 762 points this year, 90 stage points. He competed in all 36 events. He had 6 top 5s, 13 top 10s, 7 DNFs. And he led 222 laps this season. Yeah, I mean, with Brad, there's not a whole lot to say that's different than what a start to the year he had. 30. His best finish after the first 12 races of this season was 11th at Las Vegas. Just tough. He had 3 weeks in a row of crashes. He crashed out at Atlanta, crashed out at Phoenix. Tough run, for that 6 car to start the year. And then he really turned it around. He had a 5th in the Coke 600. He finished 10th at Michigan, 9th at Pocono. He finished 2nd at Atlanta. I feel like a lot of people thought he was going to get that done there. He finished 5th at the Brickyard, 3rd at Iowa. He finished 2nd again at Bristol late in the year. And then Brad had 10th, 20th, and almost should have won at Phoenix. Jeremy Bullins really helped bolster this 6 team, and they just had a bad start to the year. I think he was still ultra competitive, with his 222 laps led. He still was up there. He still did what he had to do, an average start of 20th, an average finish of 18th. I think the 6 car really... Yeah, it was a down year. He didn't win. He won last year at Darlington. He didn't win this year, but I feel like you can't, it's tough when you have a bad start like that. But he was able to rebound. Ultimately, at lowest point of 33rd in points, and he stayed there. And then he, ultimately worked his way up. And I think without the playoffs, with the, in regular season, in normal points without the playoff points, he was 16th in the grid. He finished 16th in points to end the year. That's not bad. Still not the greatest for this 6 team. I feel like the expectation was for him to go out and win at one of these tracks. I mean, next year definitely gonna have to look at a place like Iowa, look at a place like Pocono where he's won before, and look at the tracks he's won at before. Atlanta, continually consistent to be a threat there. He's good at Charlotte. You know, he was good there when he was driving the 2 for Penske. He's always been good at Bristol. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect the 6 to be down here very much, you know, to have a slow start again. I think, you know, it's just what happens. It's just the unfortunate part of the sport. You get off to a bad start, and 12 weeks, that's a long time. That's over half of that regular season that this 6 car was behind the 8 ball. And he really picked it up there at the end. And so I think for this season, I give the 6 car a C+. I mean, the expectation was a win and in the playoffs. I feel like that's the reflection of RFK. They've ever since Brad took part ownership, 2022, you saw Chris Buescher make the playoffs, and then you saw Buescher in the playoffs, and then you saw Buescher and Keselowski in the playoffs in 24, and then you saw all 3, fighting for playoff spots, towards the end there. I think RFK is, I mean, especially with all these Ford teams pulling out, and now it's RFK and Penske are going to get all this Ford really parts. I think RFK is going to benefit tremendously from this. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 get in to see Roush Fenway Keselowski really make a mark. But Brad Keselowski, a C+. I think he gets back a victory lane next season. That brings us to 19th and probably another pretty disappointing driver, Ty Gibbs in the 54. 783 points this year, 94 stage points, competed in all of the events, 5 top 5s, 10 top 10s. He had 4 DNFs, 304 laps led for Ty Gibbs. Yeah, let me run through here. He had a 3rd at Bristol. He led laps at Talladega, finished 17th. He finished 3rd at Michigan. Finished 11th at Mexico City after kind of being the one guy that could compete with Shane Van Gisbergen. He finished 2nd at Chicago, 7th at Sonoma, 5th at Dover, 8th at Daytona, and then he had a really good run at Bristol. At Bristol in the playoffs, he led 201 laps, but he ultimately came home 10th in that race. He ended the year, last 5 races, 12th, 34th, 3rd, 12th, and 21st, an average start of 13th, and an average finish of 17th. Definitely a step back for this 54 team, and he won the in-season tournament this year in the first iteration. He won that. You can take that however you want, but I feel like the expectations. He made the playoffs last year. He made the playoffs last year and was unable to even come close to sniffing that this year. In regular season points, when they came down to it going to Daytona, he was the 16th driver in regular season points going into Daytona, and he just never wasn't that consistent. I mean, the most consistent stretch he had was during the summer during the in-season challenge. In the in-season challenge, he finished, let me see, where we started at Atlanta. He finished 14th, 2nd at Chicago, 7th at Sonoma, 5th at Dover, and then he finished 21st in the Brickyard. But, he didn't show the consistency that Joe Gibbs shows. I mean, when you're in a mecca of a NASCAR organization that is Joe Gibbs Racing and you don't make the playoffs, you're gonna find yourself on the short end of the stick, which is just plain and simple, for anyone in the sport. But he has the ties to his grandfather, to his Joe Gibbs. He has the Monster Energy sponsorship. So, I mean, that helps him keep a ride, and also helps that Joe Gibbs' developmental driver, Brent Cruz, is only 17 right now. So, he's going to probably be in Xfinity for a while. But in my mind, Ty Gibbs should have won a race this year. He should have been in the playoffs. Instead, he was 19th, and he won a in-season tournament, which was it. 54 car needs to figure it out, really. Ty needs to figure it out and get into victory lane, because I wouldn't be surprised, if potentially, let's say, an Alex Bowman gets let go. You saw what Chase Briscoe did, leaving Stewart-Haas. Obviously, Stewart-Haas was a middling company when they ended, but you saw what he did in a new spot. That Alex Bowman could do that, or you could see Ty Gibbs go the Harrison Burton route and go back to Xfinity, pick it up. But I don't know. I think Ty Gibbs gets a C+. I think the expectation was, if not a win, playoffs and make it to the round of 12. Unfortunately didn't do that with the rest of his teammates making it to the round of 8 and 2 of them being in the final 4. I think this next year, 2026, is make or break for Ty Gibbs. He needs to win, at least make it to the round of 12 to keep his ride. Anyone with sponsorship can come and take his spot easily. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I hope Ty Gibbs doesn't turn out to be like Austin Dillon. That would be my fear. He is a talented driver in good equipment, which he's in. So, alrighty. That's enough of my rant of those two drivers. I'm going to go to camera 1 here. We're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back to RFK Fords, we'll talk about next on our next block. So stay with us, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. And yeah, stay with us. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Like I mentioned when we went to commercial break, RFK had a breakout season this year. They were a good sense of they were really good this year, getting all their drivers to be very competitive, which means 18th in the points this season. In his return to full-time racing, Ryan Preece, I do want to pull up his stats here that we can compare just to show you guys how much a difference is for Ryan. The difference it is for Ryan Preece. From when he was, when he raced the 41. Well, he was full-time. My bad. He was full-time last year. Ryan Preece significantly increased his top 10s and top 5s from a year ago, although it be RFK. It was a career high in top 10s for him, a career high in top 5s for this number 60 car. He finished with 861 points, 92 stage points, competed in all of the events, 3 top 5s, 14 top 10s, only 3 DNFs, 133 laps led for Mr. Preece. Flip over here. Sorry, we stapled all the pages together. A 19 average start, a 15th average finish for Ryan Preece. He did very well at Las Vegas. He finished 3rd there, 9th at Homestead, 7th at Martinsville, a 7th at Kansas, 9th at Michigan, 8th at Pocono, 7th at Chicago, 4th at Indy, 5th in Iowa, a 6th at Charlotte, 9th at Vegas. He ended the race with a 6th, 9th, 15th, 6th, and 9th for Ryan Preece. And what can you say about this driver in the number 60? It looked like he was going to maybe be spoiler and win a couple of these races in this RFK 60, the expanded first year of this car. And he did better than the counterpart of 2311, who also expanded to a 3-car operation, as Riley Herbst was. We already talked about it. Bottom of the leaderboard, wasn't really competitive. Ryan Preece is just showing the driving prowess that he has, and can be unmatched in good equipment. He drove the 41 last year. He replaced Cole Custer when they were still at Stewart-Haas, and no win yet. But I think it's there. I think he's really chomping at the bit in this 60 car. He won the pole at Richmond. He led 60 laps, but fell off the pace, finished 35th. I'm more impressed with the finishes to end the year, the hot streak that this team ended on. A 6th at the Roval, a mile and a half at Vegas. He finished 9th. He finished 15th at Talladega. He is a good plate racer. Everyone knows him from his flips. Martinsville, 6th at the Paperclip. And then at Phoenix to end the year, he finished 9th. He's just one of those guys that can be under the radar and really, really prove something. I think that Ryan Preece is definitely exceeded the expectations of a lot of guys in the garage this year. I don't think a lot of people expected him. Ryan Preece was going to finish in the back. I mean, he finished, he finished 26th in points a year ago in a RFK, no, Stewart Haas car that was closing down. The expectation, I think, this year for Preece was to just manage the car, go out and race for those top 10s and those top 5s. And he did that. I mean, his top 10 percentage was what? I think it tells me here. He finished in 38% of the races. Ryan Preece finished in the top 10. That's tremendous. That's better than what he's done in his entire career. I think that Preece is going to be a guy to watch this season. I wouldn't say win. I would say he's more likely to probably point his way in if they can keep the consistency up for the 60. I give Ryan Preece a B, just because he was above average in almost tripling his top 10s, winning a pole at Richmond, increasing his average finish from 20th to 15th from a year ago. Ryan Preece definitely impressed. He impressed me tremendously this season. And we'll go to his teammate in the last of the RFK Fords. Look at that Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You can't really see it. Beautiful paint scheme. Probably paint scheme of the year. Chris Buescher in the 17 car, 889 points. He was the first driver to be outside of the cut this year in the playoffs. 103 stage points, 889 points, 5 top 5s, 16 top 10s, 2 DNFs, but only 47 laps led for Chris Buescher. Let's do a little. I really should do this beforehand, but you guys can't do. Do you guys mind? Where's Buescher? There's Buescher. Just a comparison for Chris Buescher from last year to this year. His average finish was the same. He has stayed around the same ever since it turned into RFK. He had one more top 10, one less top 5, but he went from 208 laps led last year to just 47 this year. Overall stats here for the 17. Average start of 12th, an average finish of 14th, only 2 DNFs. 44% of the time, you found that 17 car up at the front of the field. He finished 7th at Austin, 5th at Phoenix, 6th at Homestead, 6th at Darlington. He finished 2nd at Michigan, 4th at Pocono, 9th at Atlanta, 9th at Dover, 3rd at Watkins Glen, a track I thought he was going to win at. For sure. He ended the year quite cold with a 4th at Roval, 12th at Vegas, 30th at Dega, 29th at Martinsville, 12th at Phoenix. You just felt like the 17 team was good, was probably better than he would have been in the playoffs without the Austin Dillon Richmond race, without Josh Berry's Josh Berry's on speed win at Las Vegas. It's a little disappointing to me, just to say that. I mean, it's just, we can go back to his 2023 year, his breakout season. He won Richmond. Let's just go back here. He won at Richmond, and then he won at Richmond. Richmond this year, he finished 30th. Michigan, he ran quite well at in the 17 team. 2nd, so, and then he won Daytona. Daytona's always just roll the dice and you just kind of hope, but I don't know, the 17 team felt something was off, whether it was the pace or he finished up front a lot and finished in the top 10, finished in the top 5, but I feel like the expectation now for Chris Buescher is a win in the playoffs. I feel like he can go as far as you want. He finished 7th in 2023. This is the 2nd year in a row Chris Buescher has finished 17th in the final points. I would imagine that's obviously not where he wants to be. But RFK, I've said this about Brad. I've said this about Ryan Preece. They're going to go up. They're going to get better. But for this past season, I gave him a C+, just because no win and no playoffs. I feel like it's kind of a lost season at that point for the 17 team, because now the expectation is, okay, he won last year at Watkins Glen. He didn't win this year at all. I think the 17 is gonna have to figure it out. I think the 2026 is a win. I think all like I said, I think all three RFK cars get in, and that's no. I think there's gonna be nothing of it. I think that's what's gonna happen with those RFK guys. So we're gonna take our final commercial break, as we'll have one more driver. And that is going to be the 21 of Josh Berry, the shocker of the 2025 season. We'll have more on his season and all that good stuff when we come back here on Inside the Garage. So stay with us, guys. You won't want to miss a thing. Last but certainly not least on this driver off-season review episode, show, story, segment, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I love that car. I love that one too. It's a good one. Josh Berry in the 21 car made the postseason this year, driving in his first year for the Wood Brothers. Josh Berry definitely shocked a lot of people. We'll compare his 24 and 25 season here in a second. Josh Berry, 22,150 points, 85 playoff points. He had one win, 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s, 9 DNFs, unfortunately, 207 laps led for Mr. Berry. An average start of 15th, an average finish of 21st. And his season got started out with a bang, a 4th at Phoenix, and then he followed it up with a win at Las Vegas. Josh Berry really took everyone by surprise. This was a speed win for this 21 team. And he was still proved to be quite consistent as the season went on. He had a couple bad finishes, but he kind of rallied it up with a 6th at Kansas, couple of 12ths, and had some bad finishes along the way there. He qualified 2nd at Atlanta, and he finished 8th at Richmond, 9th at Daytona. And then he had what was quite possibly the worst playoff round of the playoffs era ever, which is why you find him so far down in what was a magical season for this 21 team. A 38th at Darlington after he started 3rd. He went into 1, lost it, and his playoffs were pretty much cut short from there. 36th at Gateway, 39th at Bristol, 2nd at Loudon, 33rd at Kansas, 16th at the Roval, 26th at Vegas, 33rd at Dega, 10th at Martinsville, 7th at Phoenix. But I don't want to take away from that playoff run, as unfortunate and catastrophic as it was for this 21 team. Josh Berry made this 21 team in the playoffs for a 2nd straight year after Harrison Burton won his way in a year ago. 21 got in it this year with a legitimate win. Josh Berry proved he can do it in moving to the Wood Brothers, and he got it done at Vegas and proved it at a lot of other tracks. Maybe the finishes didn't show, but he was up there, up front, running and being competitive, which is what I feel like a lot of people expected when he was in the Xfinity Series. He won 5 races in the Xfinity Series when he was driving for Junior Motorsports. In comparison, he almost doubled and then some his laps led count, increased his average finish by a position, his average start by 5 positions. His points position went from 27th to 16th. Top 10s doubled. He had one more top 5. But he got that win. The 21 car got that big win at Las Vegas. That's why I'm giving the 21 car a nice A on the report card. There's not much more for me to say. The expectation, I don't think, was for him to win any races. He went out and proved it. He can win. Got it done at Vegas. I wouldn't be shocked if he can do it again. That 21 car, is good. And I did a race winner pick with a couple of my buddies, and this Vegas race, I picked Josh Berry to win. He was my pick, and he got it done. I'll forever remember that pick. But Josh Berry, I feel like he can go win again and make the playoffs. Wood Brothers, I feel like, is only getting better with that Penske Alliance. Like I mentioned with RFK, with Ford losing so many teams, that means a lot of their resources are going to go into the teams they have left, which is Team Penske, which is the RFK team. So I feel like the sky is up now here for Josh Berry. I feel like the only place he can go is up for this 21 team. Well, that is going to do it for this episode here of Inside the Garage. Let me just look at Can I look at the 2025 points? Driver standings. Here we go. Next week on the show, we will go through the next 5 drivers on the points grid. That'll be Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Bubba Wallace. We got some big hitters, big names to go on that list. So that'll be in next week's episode. Just another reminder for everybody watching at home. If you missed this week's episode of Inside the Garage here on WFRV Plus, you can head on over to our YouTube page at Local 5, and you can find our playlist. It's called Inside the Garage. You can find all of our shows there. You can find Indiana Shills' interview with Natalie Decker on there as well. If you missed that one, that is still so mind-boggling to me. That was such a good interview. And if you missed any other of our WFRV Plus content, make sure you can go check it out over there. So for today's episode of Inside the Garage, I am your host, Blake Bortz. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.